Hour of sleep as daylight savings starts on Sunday.
Meteorologist Emily Sano joins us now with what else Mainers can expect with the time change.
Okay, so it's coming up.
Yes, you know there's negatives and there's
Yes,
positives to
totally.
daylight savings, and it's actually starting this Sunday at 2 a.m. So that's what we are going to put our clocks back, or I guess we're going to push them forward
Spring
1
forward,
hour.
spring forward.
Yep.
At 2 a.m. it'll automatically be 3 a.m. I know one year I actually stayed up to watch it, and
Oh,
it
that's kind of
does
fun.
happen.
I've never done that. I like that.
It was interesting because I'm like, oh, this doesn't happen every night, you know. Honestly, this is a good time to test your smoke alarms.
Yep.
This happens
batteries,
twice a year.
yep.
Everything automatically will change its clocks, other than your stove, your alarm clocks,
Your car.
Your
car, your microwaves. So don't get confused in the morning. Maybe it's a good time to do it at night before you go to bed
Sure.
on Saturday. We are seeing some positives. We are seeing some negatives. We do lose an hour of sleep, but the sun actually sets an hour later now. We'll take a look at that just coming up here. The new sunrise on Sunday will be at 7:03 a.m. And that's one thing I forgot, that the sun rises later, so maybe harder to get up in the morning.
I know, and our sky cams aren't going to be looking as bright,
Right.
but that's okay.
Yeah.
The new sunset time, though, 6:40, and only get
Ooh.
later. This is a really
Love
cool
that.
graphic I really enjoyed
Oh.
seeing. This is the daylight gain in March. Maine can see a daylight gain of either 90 or 100 minutes, so over an hour and a half. But places like the Southeast, Florida, South Florida near Miami, they're only gaining 40 minutes of daylight.
That's interesting.
And then 50 minutes in northern Florida, and actually gets more and more the way you make as you make your way up to the U.S. and Canadian border. So let's talk about those sunsets moving on forward. I know that a lot of the places, maybe in Portland or down near the coastline, they're getting ready for their spring and summer seasons.
Yeah.
Well, they're probably going to be open later outside, depending on the weather, just because of these sunsets. Sunset tonight is 5:36, but on Sunday, 6:40. And on April 6th, so a month from today, 7:14, and then close to 8 o'clock on May 6th, coming up in 2 months. So if you like your late sunsets, I know that it gets me in a better mood sometimes. Sometimes the winter can be so dark and for a really long time, and seeing the sun come out later, or I guess stay out later and later, kind of gives me hope. You know what I mean?
So many
Just like,
people, yeah.
Yeah, and especially when we come on this date, this is like the light at the end of the tunnel. You're like, winter's almost over, the sunsets are going to be later, and you're like, oh man, this is going to be awesome, more vitamin D.
Yep.
The weather's going to get better. I mean, I don't know. I don't think there's any negatives. I think it's all positive. You lose 1 hour of sleep for one night, and that's it. Just go to bed an hour earlier.
Thank
you know?
goodness
That's why
it's
I
not
like
on
March.
Monday.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness,
know,
imagine
that would be tough.
A couple of weeks ago, Christian and I were talking about that there's only like maybe a month and a half, 2 months where the days are pretty short. December and
You're
January,
right.
those are, because I was putting this in perspective and I was like, because when I was doing the weather rewind, we add how much daylight we see each month. And beginning in February, I started gaining. I changed the loss to gain. So it's really January and a little bit of December,
right.
January, a little bit of late November is when we lose daylight. So it's only those 2 months where
I
we're
started
actually
noticing it
reducing.
quickly, honestly, because I see, you see the 4 o'clock,
Yeah.
the 3:30, the
Yep.
4 o'clock, and the sun's already like starting to set. But I was quickly like, oh, it's not so bad. Starting to seeing a little more, and I'm really seeing it. And then Sunday night is going to be amazing.
And it's only going to get harder for you guys,
I
and
know,
even
to
Christian
sleep.
that go to bed. Got to get that sleep mask.
Well,
and
we got those blackout curtains.
yeah,
we
blackout
got all the
curtains. Yep.
things. We've been
Jeez.
doing this long enough. We know what we need, right? So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And I mean, again, I think everybody's in a better mood when the sun stays out longer.
Yeah.
Have those barbecues where it's not, the sun's not setting at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it seems like.
It's going to be great.
So it's just, I can't wait. I mean, I don't get political on shows ever, but man, once Sunday hits, state lawmakers, let's keep that. I would love to have that happen. Oh, that would be
And
awesome.
also, I know that a lot of the Sea Dogs fans out there, this means that the baseball season's approaching too,
Yes.
with the
Yep.
later games at night.
April 8th is opening day, by the
Yeah,
way.
so
All right, it's coming up.
get ready for those later sunsets.
Sounds good. We'll take it.
Well, if you have any weather-related questions, maybe about daylight savings, when it starts, ends, you can always email us at weather@wgme.com.
All right.